Hey guys, it's Shay. Welcome back to the Vanity Chair. Today I wanted to do yet another makeup look with this palette because I've been loving this palette. It's the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I have stared at it and stared at it and stared at it because I knew I wanted to do tutorials with it, and I'm like, what do I want to do? And every time I look at it, this punk color, it's like a really warm, rich red brown. This keeps staring back at me saying, use me. So I put it all over my eyelid today and made a really smoky look. I hope you guys like it. This palette's really nice because as you can see in there, it's mostly neutral colors with some fun pops. And so I just think it's a really wearable palette and it's just a cool collab. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial and let's just get started. First, I'm going to start off by doing my eyebrows. I'm using the Urban Decay pencil, the Brow Beater, and the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I'm just using these two different ones because they're two different shades. I just like to outline it with a lighter shade and then fill it in with a darker shade. And then to really make your eyebrows pop, I've been doing this a lot lately. I take some concealer, so here I'm using MAC Pro Longwear, and I put it on either a concealer brush or a flat definer brush. This is a MAC 212. And I just underline it and then kind of work the concealer down and buff it out. And it really makes your eyebrow look more arched and cleaned up. I've been really liking doing that. Next, we're going to apply Painterly Paint Pot all over our eyes. This is just a great eyeshadow base. It helps all your shadows stay without creasing throughout the day and gives them a little something to stick to. Now we're reaching into the palette. I'm going to use the shade Stark as my transition shade. This is just like a best friend shade that's going to help everything else we go in with next blend out really nice and easy. So I'm applying this in my crease area with an E40. It's a big fluffy blending brush from Sigma, and you just are kind of doing this to get the tackiness to go away from the paint pot and to create, like I said, a little best friend color to help all our colors next blend out. Next, we're going to highlight. I'm using the shade Blonde. It reminds me a lot of Nylon from MAC. It's just a really pretty yellowy gold highlight. So I'm putting that in my inner corners of my eyes and underneath my eyebrows with a Sigma E70 angled shader brush. Now we're going in with Zone. It's a nice matte mid-tone brown. I love this for a crease shade. It's just a nice everyday crease shade if you're anywhere near my skin tone. But we're just going to use this once again to help our lid shade blend out into our Stark color. So each shade you're going with darker and darker the closer you get to the lash line. This one's really important because it's going to help our lid shade blend out and not be too choppy into the crease area. So I'm just applying this with a Sonia Kashuk brush, and then I'm going back with that E40 and buffing it into the Stark color. Now all over our eyelid, we're going to use another paint pot. This one's called Quite Natural, and I'm just using this one because it's a brown, so it's going to be a darker background color than the Painterly one was for our lid shade. Since we are going in with a dark brown, I just thought it would really help it pop better. So I'm just putting this on with a Sigma concealer brush actually all over the lid up into my crease area, and then I'm going to go in with a Sephora cream shadow brush and just kind of buff that into the crease so it doesn't end and doesn't have like a line where it ends. I want it to just seamlessly blend into our Zone eyeshadow. Now we're going in with the lid shade. This is Punk. This is my favorite color in the palette. I cannot stop using this. So I'm just applying this all over the lid, patting it down so it sticks really well to that Quite Natural paint pot. I'm using a MAC 242. This is just a really skinny, stiff, dense brush. So it's really nice because it packs it on there without having too much fallout. Now I'm going to mix Zone and Punk together, so the crease shade and the lid shade, and just slowly start buffing that lid shade up into the crease. These shadows are super pigmented, so I literally went back probably 3 or 4 times, and then my dog was on my lap too. So it took me a while. I just kept blending and blending because I didn't want to go too crazy. These have a lot of color on them. And then I'm just going back and adding Punk over top again just because I felt like it lost some of the pigmentation from my blending. So I'm just darkening up that lid area. Now we're going to go in with Maybelline Eye Studio Gel Liner in the shade Blackest Black, and I'm just lining just a simple line on my lash line, no wing, nothing like that, just a simple black line all the way across the top of my eyelids. And then I'm going to go back with Blackout, which is the black out of the Urban Decay palette, and this is seriously the blackest eyeshadow ever. It's just so matte and deep. I love it. So I'm just going back over top of my liner with that to deepen it up. And then I'm just going to coat my lashes with some Rimmel Lash Accelerator and apply my SASHA lashes from Huda Beauty. I wanted something dramatic today, so that's why I chose those. If you guys want to see how I applied them, I did do it in my last video, so you can watch it there if you'd like. I'm prepping my skin with the Makeup Forever Step 1 Mattifying Primer, and then I'm going to use a medium coverage today. This is MAC Match Master. I wanted to talk about this foundation just because going into winter, this is a really cool one to have. There's only 12 shades available in this formula because it has a technology in it to kind of blur to your skin tone. So this is one of those foundations where if you only own one, it's kind of cool because if you get more fair or maybe tanner in summer, you can stick with this one formula and it'll blur to match your skin. Now under my eyes and down the center of my face, I'm going to take this Prep and Prime Radiant Rose pen from MAC. I've been loving this lately. If you guys haven't heard me talk about it already, I'm kind of obsessed right now. I've been using it every single day. I love the Radiant Rose shade because it has a little bit of pink underneath, so it's really brightening. But there are 3 other shades, so if you don't like that pinky tone, there's some that are peachy, more yellow. There's a bunch of different shades. There's 4 altogether, so there's one that suits every skin tone. And I am just never happy when I wear this smoky of an eye. I always feel like it's choppy. I never feel like it's blended, so I'm just being a weirdo here and going back and making sure that crease is really blended out. Next, I'm putting MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation all over my face. I just love this because it adds a little more coverage and it's mattifying. And just a little fun fact for you, I just went to a MAC class and one of the senior artists was talking about how Gwen's makeup artist actually uses that on her as well. Now we're going in with the NARS Stephen Klein palette. I've been loving this. If you guys couldn't tell already, I think I used it in my last tutorial too. So I'm just setting my under eye area with the Paloma highlighting powder. And then I'm going to use the shade Laguna bronzer that comes in this palette. I'm using a Sephora brush that's actually been discontinued, but now it's on sale for $15 at Sephora.com. So I went ahead and ordered 3 just because I love this brush so much and I've already gone through one. And then I'm going in with Luster blush out of that same palette and an F10 Sigma blush brush. And just popping this on the apples of my cheeks and then working any leftover color back toward my temple area. I am so fair lately. Like I said in my last tutorial, I'm just layering up the blush to give myself some color. Then I'm going back to the palette and I'm using the shade Zone, that matte brown that we used in the crease earlier, and I'm putting this on the lower lash line with the Sigma E39. It's just a buff and blend brush, so it really puts it on there densely and kind of buffs it out at the same time. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing with the punk color that we put all over our lid. I'm keeping this one a little bit more on the outer corner, but I'm kind of pulling it into the middle too, just not too high up by my inner corner of my eye area. Next, I'm using Feline Eye Kohl from MAC, and it's just a rich black liner. I wanted to make the bottom lower lash line appear more smoked out, so that's why I'm lining the inner part of my eye. For our lip primer, I'm using MAC Prep and Prime Lip. I love this one. It just helps so much with your lipstick lasting longer and looking better, so I always go for that one. And then I'm using MAC Whirl Lip Pencil. I love this shade because it's pretty universal. You can wear it with a lot of different things. It's kind of like a rosy brown. And then we're going to use the Sephora Rouge lipstick. This one's called R21, and it's really close to the Whirl Lip Pencil actually, and it's a really nice texture. It's kind of like a satin. For our highlight, I'm using MAC Oh Darling Highlighter on an Anastasia highlighting brush, and I'm just putting that on the tops of my cheekbones, on my nose area, a little on the forehead, and then above my lips too. And if you guys can't find this, because I know it is sold out, it's just a nice gold color, so I'm sure Anastasia's is really close. Then to set everything we've just done, I'm using my favorite setting spray, the L'Oreal Pro Matte Setting Spray. And you are all finished. I hope you guys love the smoky eye. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon.